morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys. Happy Tuesday. Hope we're all having a great start to the week. I'm Tommy. You guys also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Max. Louis Tuesday. Always got to say it like that on our Tuesday show. And, of course, Chef Jackus as well. Getting ready to cook for you guys. I think we're going to have a great show today. Obviously, some things to talk about, right? Of course, we have the VIX continuing to come down. Equity markets. I mean, actually, they've kind of flipped from red to green. And of course, crypto markets. I think alts in particular showing a lot of resilience despite some weakness that we had overnight in things like Bitcoin, things like ETH. Kind of pulling back a little bit from Monday's pump. It is Tuesday. Was that the reversion or not? We'll talk about it more here in just a second. But of course, guys, before we can do that, I'm going to need you to slam, smash, destroy, annihilate, whatever adjective or verb you need to use to justify hitting the like button. As always, we are so appreciative of when you do that. And of course, you help us grow our channel. And continue to get in front of more eyes, ultimately continue doing these shows. But yeah, like I said, we are going to have a great show today. We are going to discuss things like the title, going to discuss the coins. I really feel as though, the backdrop of what we're seeing has been a large positive here over the last week or so, right? And I'm talking specifically about something like the VIX. Equity volatility coming down and kind of nuking that lower time frame uptrending market structure that it had put in really since mid-February. Now, that's not to say that we can't get a bounce from here on the VIX or that it can't potentially continue to, to have flare-ups throughout this year. But at least here in the interim, something like equity volatility looks constructive for this bounce to continue, right? I think on a multi-week basis, that's at least kind of how, in the most simplistic way, how I am viewing the market right now. But yeah, I mean, the Qs, the S&P, they did go red to green. Like I said, altcoins were, I think they're showing a pretty good bit of resilience actually at the moment, despite the fact that ETH dipped down to like 2040 overnight. Bitcoin had about a 2.5K dump. But yeah, I look at my watch list and it does seem as though altcoins are signaling that they do want to continue this. Again, whether or not this is a long-term reversal or a counter trend rally, it does look as though altcoins want to continue trading constructively. And so for me, looking to skate where the puck is headed, I still think that is likely where the most risk reward lies at the moment. Is seeing these altcoins continue to bounce. But I don't want to ramble for too long. Ultimately, we are at the same prices that we were during yesterday's show, but I do think that we do have some new things to discuss, of course. And of course, we're going to have to discuss the title of the video as well. But how are we doing, guys? What are we seeing in the markets? Do we have any thoughts on what we're seeing in equities and altcoins or anything else for that matter?
We're looking a little squeezy, boys. I mean, man, I haven't even looked at the VIX this week. I've just kind of been watching altcoins mainly because a lot of them are starting to curl out a little bit, starting to form some what looks to be like very early stage, at least local bottom formations. Obviously, the boys were on the buttons, which is great news, but I mean, I'm looking at this chart right here. This is others. And I mean, I think if you can break above that kind of normie compression, diagonal trend line, whatever you want to call it, I think we're going to get one hell of a squeeze, right? I think we're going to have a lot of fun, right? We're not quite there yet. Obviously, a little bit more work to do. But I mean, we're starting to uptrend again on like every single time frame here. Like, looking at this little RSI table up top here, it's like, guys, general rule of thumb, like RSI above 50, you're uptrending. RSI below 50, you're downtrending. Like, we're starting to see like deep green here, like 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour, 6 hour, 12 hour, all trending above not just 50 but 60, right? Like we're getting close to a little squeeze here. If we can put in like another, couple days worth of solid price action, oh baby, I think we could have a constructive move, right? This is starting to look good. So,
well, first of all, let's tackle the headline, Tommy, as you said. I think I wouldn't say necessarily bottoms in, or would depend on certain coins, but I think we are at the bottoming process. I will keep on repeating this for the past week and for the next weeks. Bottoming process is, in my opinion, happening all over until proven otherwise, of course. I tend to think that BTC is likely not to hit new lows right now. Kind of would tend to think that. Not sure about the others. When I look at Sol, although really nice rally from here, but still a bearish trend on the daily, and I would tend to think that we still do need to go below that August 5th low. That level to me looks exactly as ETH at 2.2K. So I still think that capitulation on Sol needs to happen as well below that level, and then I think we kind of ready to go. So again, I would say would depend on individual alts. Kind of my take.
Well, we're already seeing quite a lot. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Louis. I was just going to say we're already seeing quite a few alts. I mean, Jack has pointed out the bottoming process. Again, I'm uncertain whether or not it's a local bottoming process or a long-term one, but even still, you're seeing altcoins begin to move much more aggressively before the rest of the market already. We discussed a lot of them yesterday, right? Things like, it's so ridiculous every time I have to say this, but like Fartcoin, we've got Sonic, you've got some other on-chain coins as well that are higher beta that are beginning to show signs of life too, kind of in some of these like base or BSC ecosystems where they're clearly trying to reignite on-chain activity. So, I think you're seeing signs of life that you typically would like to see before altcoin rallies.
yeah, I mean, do we actually buy that Altcoin on Sol is the new risk on indicator for this market? I mean, there's some local evidence that maybe that's the case. And here's the thing about Fartcoin is that I can't believe I'm even saying this out loud as a grown man, but I mean, that's the world we live in. It's just so funny. It has, for whatever reason, really kind of captivated and stole a lot of the mind share and the discussion from, I'd say, not crypto natives around crypto. They talk about it on CNBC, man. Like, it gets national coverage, right? It's almost like it's the ultimate meme coin narrative, right? It kind of is, where it's like everyone was dismissing these, and there were a lot of crappy meme coins, right? But like, I'm talking about the blue chips, right? Like the really solid memes, the Doges, the Pepes, the whatever, right? A lot of these legacy, the legacy bros, they would just be so quick to dismiss it because like, oh, it's stupid, it's silly, I would never buy a meme, where they were really, to their own detriment, overlooking something that was correlated to, Bitcoin and ETH and the S&P. It's all connected, right? But they wouldn't give it the respect that honestly it deserved. Something like Doge specifically being it's older than Ethereum. It's been like the best performing asset of the last decade, right? If you had bought it on the first day, you outperformed everything. But because of the name, they were like, this is stupid, I would never buy this, I'm an adult, I'm above it, right? So it's almost like crypto's way of shoving it back at them is to make something that is so like so egregious, so like, I don't know what the word is, but it's like it's like using their own feelings against them, right? Okay, so you think that like Doge is stupid. You think that Pepe is stupid. You think that they're not legitimate assets. There's no correlation. You're above it. Okay, well, now we're going to make something so outlandish that like you can't turn away. You have to talk about it, and it's going to outperform everything. Fart coin, right? It's like the ultimate trope is what it is. It's hilarious. So I don't know. It's for whatever reason, whether it's that or something else, it's been sticking, right? It's been sticking. I don't know what the future holds for it, but it's renting a lot of real estate in people's minds right now. That's one thing I'm sure of. So I mean, maybe it is the new risk on barometer for the cycle. How's Fartcoin doing? You know, it's so funny to me.
It's almost like, you know,
Funny and sad.
when you have a congressman or something, or somebody who's trying to purposely make fun of crypto, like name do you think that X coin is is gonna make money, and you just name the most absurd thing that they can to try and demean crypto, and they were like, all right, well, we'll tokenize this and pump it in your face.
It's so crazy, it just might work.
I mean, it doesn't look bad. I don't own this one. I own the base Fartcoin because it's outperforming it by a lot. And of course, I'm a beta addict, but I mean, this is, it's kind of a textbook bottom. I don't know if you guys have talked about this, you know, this week, but like, this is an altcoin bottom, man. Like, this is when you're trading some shitter on chain. Oh, just a little curl up here, man. Oh, it just doesn't get better than that, honestly. It
honestly looks even better off log.
Yeah, it looks better off log.
Yeah, it does, man. I mean, that's
classic rounding bottom.
I mean, it is just, I mean, everybody's initial reaction is the same, right? Fartcoin, what? And then you just take a second look at it and you're kind of like, all right, I could see why it would work. I can see why it would, you know, because it's like there's no better headline or like embodiment of crypto than Fartcoin being your top gainer and legacy media being forced to include it in their coverage of our asset class when they're so critical of it to begin with. It's the ultimate troll, right? And for that reason, it's going to do well. But really, again, I don't even own the OG Fartcoin. I own the Sol or the base one because it's been outperforming it, man. Which is so funny too. Like here's it's amazing, man. Like this is as a grown man, I'm gonna say this. As a grown man. This is base Fartcoin paired against Sol Fartcoin. I mean, look, it's the world. I'm here to make some money. I'm here to make trades. I'm here to make money. You guys know I pair trade a lot.
We're professionals.
Dude, we run a hedge fund and we're talking about Fartcoin. Dude, you know what? You gotta adapt or die. You gotta be with it. You gotta be with the times, man. These you know what? These dinosaurs, man, they're happy with 5 or 6% a year. I need Fartcoin, man. I'm trying to outperform that.
I own coins derived from flatulence and vegetables. The boomer mind could never comprehend.
They could never comprehend. But yeah, I mean, this is because I mean, you guys know I'm real into the beta, you know, so it's like, all right, I have a Fartcoin derivative that's outperforming like the best performing coin in crypto, being Fartcoin for right now. It's just been churning up higher lows, higher highs in a range. I'm betting on a breakout. I mean, it's a new paradigm, man. Like when I first bought this thing, like, okay, so for example, this has been such a blessing in my portfolio. I can't believe we're talking about Fartcoins, but here we are. So obviously like a huge portion of my personal portfolio is in Pepe. And that's been a real good strategy. I mean, up until like 70 days ago, things turned, but I think it's going to be pretty short-lived. I initially bought this thing like over here, and then I bought a little bit more in here. right? But it's like if you look at it compared to Pepe, which has been like the backbone of my portfolio, you know, like look at the relative strength against something like Pepe, right? I'm up on my base fart coin position, but I'm down on my Pepe, right? So it's like it's been holding my entire portfolio up. Like a derivative of the OG fart coin has been holding up my entire portfolio, you know, against arguably the best performing meme of this entire cycle, Pepe. Like without question. So it's just funny, man. You got to look for like little opportunities, right? It's, you know, I would just say my biggest lesson with this cycle has just been like, there's going to be a new hot trend and don't be so quick to dismiss it. Like really kind of marinate in it because
I think that's the wrong adjective that I would use. But
really bask in it, you know, really take a breath and just like really breathe it in and try to understand the narrative. Okay. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a very interesting time that we live in, but I'm with it. You know, it's fun. We're making money. It's just so funny, man. It's just so funny.
Do you think Trump or Fartcoin?
Yes. I mean, bro, Trump is the crime chart. Like they're gonna commit so much crime on this chart that I have to have exposure to it. I don't think it's gonna play out exactly like this. I kind of think it's gonna be a little bit more of like I'm sure we could find a good fractal that kind of like curls up, you know? Like it'll just be some like, you know, egregious curl up like this, you know, just or maybe they literally commit straight crime and like do this. But there's a huge unlock coming in under a month. It's like 3 weeks away. It's a 4% unlock, which given how much supply is held back on Trump right now, there's like, I think the float's like 20%. It's very, very minimal. So a 4% unlock is increasing the overall circulating supply by like 20%. So there's basically a 4% unlock that is really more like a 20% supply unlock, right? They're going to commit crime on this thing. Do you understand the incentive that these individuals have to pump this chart over the next 3 weeks? There's going to be crime committed on this chart. So I think this thing's bottomed out. I think it's going to pay to just like have a little bit of exposure to it and just sit here and wait until the crime is committed for a nice trade. I would be pretty shocked if they didn't pump this thing into the unlock. It's a huge, huge like insider unlock. So I think there's going to be crime committed on this chart. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but you know, it pulled back 87% from the high. It's ranging right here. It feels pretty floored out, and they have a major fundamental catalyst incentive to just rip this thing higher in like 3 weeks. And I think even going back to the Sol chart, right? If we could get Sol even back up to like value area high for this giant mega range, right? Which I know is a big move, right? But like Sol up to 187 or something, I don't think that's impossible. Honestly, I really don't think that's impossible. Because I kind of view this as like a local range here with like range low. The range high was the Trump, you know, strategic digital asset reserve news, you know, nice bear trap deviation. We're above the point of control. I really think Sol could squeeze up to like almost 190 even. So if that happens and you get like Sol as a bit of a tailwind and their incentive is to commit crime on that chart, I mean, Trump is going to like, it's going to pump. It's going to pump really hard. Whenever Sol starts really moving, it's always kind of a leader. You know, I don't know. I like it here, honestly. I really do. I don't think it's a bad RR from where it's at. I think Louis was looking for something similar too, but I'm not sure, Louis, if you're still bullish on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've been buying a lot of Trump the last month and a half. I'm just waiting, just sitting, waiting for there's a big move loading on it, in my opinion. Right, it reminds me a lot of Pepe. Before it went on that like 10 to 12x run. I think that's the fractal he put on there. So Does it play out like that? I have no idea, like you said. But yeah, I don't think it just bleeds to zero, right? I think, I think they, I guess like World Liberty Fi or the Trump admin, I don't know, whoever launched this thing, right? Obviously they haven't mentioned it much at all up until recently, but I think they do care about it more than they let on. And I think they were honestly waiting for this thing to bleed lower to start talking about it again, right? Because I think we saw Trump tweet about it, or was it Truth Social post about it just on Sunday, right? The other day, this whole time. So my thesis has always been, I don't think they just let this thing bleed to zero, right? I think does more harm than good for them, right? So it's my thesis that, it has the Trump name, it has attention. That attention isn't going anywhere anytime soon. It had a beautiful launch, and it's starting to follow that new token playbook that I was talking about yesterday as well. Like successful pump off the launch, everyone's bullish, everyone's hyped up on it, and then you get that 70 to 80% slow, agonizing bleed to the downside. People give up, start calling it a scam, start saying it's going to go to zero. And that's where I like to come in and start accumulating stuff like that, right? Very similar to what happened to Pepe in 2023, right? Pepe had a nice big pump in the middle of a bear market, right? That launch. And like, that was the only game in town. And I remember sitting there watching Pepe pump. Obviously I missed it, right? But I definitely wasn't going to chase it either. So I told myself when did Pepe launch? What was the date on that? Was it like early 2023?
April 2023.
So yeah, so that thing launched, was going crazy. Everyone was talking about it. And I told myself, I was like, I'm not chasing this thing. I was like, but I'll come back in a couple months. And if it's bleeding lower and it's way off the highs, I'll consider looking to buy. And that's exactly what I did, right? And lo and behold, you put in a nice basing formation, a couple, multiple months of sideways to down after a successful launch. Anyone who is bullish and hyped up on it around the launch time has now given up on it, or has gotten, bought the top on it. Now believes it's not going to go higher because they didn't buy it at a good price. And that's when I came in and bought Pepe, right before that massive 10x run. So I'm kind of looking for a similar setup here on Trump. The only difference is I think we don't need as much time down here that we did with Pepe. The only reason I'm saying that was because Pepe was launched in the middle of a bear market, right? Whereas I don't think we're in the middle of a bear market. If anything, we're actually, in a bull market as far as Bitcoin's concerned, but I think we're entering an altcoin bull market as far as altcoins are concerned. So I think this thing starts to curl back to the upside, whether it's a slow grind, a nice rounding bottom like we saw with Farcoin, I'm fine with that. Or it's a nice big, pump to the upside, into that $25 level, something like that, and we'll see. But I'm bulled up on this one. I got a nice bag.
There will be crime, Louis. I don't know. It's not going to look exactly like this, but it's very similar in the way that it kind of got launched and was when Pepe pumped. If you'll remember back in April, May 2023, it was the only thing pumping. Everybody was trading it. The market was dead. The same thing happened with Trump coin. Everything was just sitting there, right? Not doing anything. For like a week straight, it was the only thing that was being traded. And it got listed on every major exchange immediately, right? Immediately. And the same thing happened with Pepe, right? Obviously, like two totally kind of different memes, but like similar playbook in one regard, okay? So I look at this and I'm like, they both pulled back, 87% from their major tier 1 centralized exchange listing, highs, and they're basing out. Like, I think this thing's going to pump, man. Like, I really don't. It would not surprise me to see like a $25 Trump in like the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not at all.
What do you think about the distributions and the difference between Pepe and Trump?
When you say distributions, what do you mean?
Of coins, of supply.
Like the float, like the supply being held back?
Yeah, like at the time. I'm not sure what it was at the time for Pepe, actually.
Yeah, I mean the Pepe team initially, like there was a lot of actually kind of drama. Like there was some supply concentration in the beginning. But it kind of quickly sorted itself out. Here's the thing about supply control with something like Trump. Supply control in the right hands is bullish.
Yeah.
Supply control in the wrong hands is the most bearish thing ever. So the big question is 80% of the supply is basically being held back on Trump right now. It's not in circulation. You're about to have, an additional 4% be unlocked here in the next 3 weeks. The big question is, like, is it bullish supply control, or is this just the most criminal shit ever and they're going to unlock it and immediately dump and they're going to ruin it? I think there's a huge opportunity for them to make a lot more money by going through these unlocks and not dumping and kind of showing everyone they're down to ride and like make this thing sustainable and playing it more long term. So it's kind of a bet that like the president and his team and his investors are not going to just full stack jeet all of their supply unlocks, right? Because supply control in the right hands creates lower float, which is going to, again, like the lower the float, when demand picks up, it's going to pump way harder. You have a coin here that's listed on every centralized exchange. It's got perps. It's got spot trading on every single major exchange, every single one of them. And it's got 80% of the supply held back. This is the perfect recipe. If Trump and his team don't completely screw everyone over and just start selling everything on the unlocks, there's not a coin on the market that's set up to pump harder than Trump because of how low float it is. The fact that you have such limited supply available of this thing and it's listed everywhere. When the market starts heating up, like, you realize the supply and demand imbalance that 80% that's not in circulation is going to create. This thing could pump literally to hundreds of billions if they don't completely destroy it, right? But it's not up to me. So you're kind of making a bet like, all right, they're going to view this thing longer term. They're not going to just act incredibly selfishly, right? Because there's honestly not a coin on the market that has the potential to pump harder than Trump because of how low the float is. But that's how I view it. I don't know how you guys view it, but I just hope they have a huge opportunity here if they can just sit on it and not start selling immediately. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
Probably depends on who has the supply, right? Who exactly is the team? I don't really know, but I at least think that they're going to try to pump it into the unlocks because, I mean, I don't know if you guys hear my cat just like wailing in the background.
No, not at all.
StreamYard's really good at canceling out noise because he is just like screaming. But yeah, no, I think it depends on who exactly has the majority of the supply. And I mean, they'll probably pump it into the unlocks, just being honest.
Yeah, at a minimum, right? Like at a minimum, worst case, they pump it into the unlock and then they sell off the supply, right?
If I were trying to exit pump a coin in which I held 80% of the supply, I would burn the supply that is supposed to be unlocking much further down the road and keep the supply that's unlocking in the near term. Would pump the crap out of the price probably in the immediate term, and you'd get the liquid token, or you'd get the tokens that you're going to get to be liquid much sooner, that you can sell into the pump. At least that's what I would do.
Yeah,
there's so many ways to do, dude. I really hope somebody is like consulting them on what they should do to make this. Because, dude, I don't know if you guys agree. I actually think if they do this the right way, which is a huge, huge, huge if they do it the right way, this thing could literally go to like 250 billion, like so incredibly high if they do it the right way. But I don't know if they're going to.
Well, I'll say this:
250 billion. That's more currently than East market cap.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I
so I'm
just had to
thinking
laugh
about
at
it in
the
terms
idea.
of this, Jackus. So like last cycle, Doge went to 80 billion. And I'm thinking that this particular coin, if done the right way, would far exceed what Doge did last cycle in terms of like the mania of the pump. If they start burning supply and like really pushing it and doing it the right way,
Yeah,
they keep that low float, you know. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's a recipe, it's a literal like, I mean, it's dynamite is what it is. Like it is going to explode, but I just don't know if they're going to do it. But I think if they did it the right way, like if you had
the bet is that they are not complete imbeciles. I get it.
if you had me
that's the
consulting them
narrative
on
on it
what
right
to
now.
do, man, I would just be like, here is everything you're going to do, and you're going to have the most. This thing will literally, like, it will rival the top L1s. Like man.
Yeah, I mean that's the narrative on it right now. The narrative on it right now is that it's a rug pull, right? It's like Trump rug pulled us. Trump was supposed to be, be the crypto savior, and he rug pulled us with a meme coin. That's the narrative on it right now, and that's why I like it, right? Because I like when people in a month span go from holy shit, Trump's going to be the next best meme coin in crypto history, to a month later being, wow, Trump was a rug pull. He rug pulled us, right? So I like the sentiment, and I was buying. Like I said, I started buying this middle of February, early February, and I've been DCAing, down. But I was definitely way less certain if they were actually gonna stick with this thing and do the right thing with this project. But seeing that Trump tweeted about it, not tweeted, Truth Social, whatever you want to call it, on Sunday, I think is a good sign, right? I don't think he'd be talking about it still if they were going to let it bleed and go to zero, right? They would just let it do that and keep it on the hush hush and not talk about it. But I mean, if he's going to be tweeting about it or talking about it, again, I think it goes back to, I think they actually do care about it a little more than they've been letting on. They haven't really talked about it at all in the last month or two. And Sunday we got the first mention. So I don't think he would mention it and put his name out there and link himself back to it if they didn't have some sort of plan for it, right? So I do feel a little better on it, after Sunday, seeing that he is acknowledging it, right? So I think that's a good sign.
Dude, he's gonna pump it, man, into these unlocks. Like all the pairs look bottomed. Like,
what do you guys think of Melania in that instance?
Zero.
You think that they're gonna pump one coin to 250 billion and the other goes to zero?
Yeah, I do. I think Melania was a money grab. I think it's not going to trend. It doesn't have the mind share. Nobody has the same dying loyalty to Melania that they do to Trump. Man, people love Trump. Like his followers would die for him, like his supporters. There's nothing novel about Melania, man. Like that, nothing.
Melania was the proverbial Birkin bag that he gifted her.
Yeah, it was.
Like, here, buy yourself something nice.
Yeah, literally. No, literally.
It's trading currently at 100 million market cap.
It's not gonna do shit, bro. Like it
100 million market cap.
Yeah.
They will pump it a little bit, but it doesn't have the same potential that something like Trump does, in my opinion. And I was playing Melania initially, by the way, but I sold it all and I, moved it back into Trump for the crime play.
What do you do if they build out a whole roadmap for Trump and Melania?
Roadmap? What is the roadmap? What is the destination of that road?
Wouldn't it be funny if the amount of crime they committed was like no short-term or long-term cap gains on only Trump and Melania coin, but everything else you still pay taxes on? And it's just like the craziest catalyst. That would never happen, but The roadmap, the crime roadmap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doge getting a little perky, guys.
Such a I mean, in a way, this is what is this, like the total 2 chart? I want to say, kind of.
Let's put it up down below and take a look.
But there are a lot of altcoins that look like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doge up top, total 2 down below. Pretty similar. I mean,
isn't it Doge going up first that kind of signals that memes as a broader sector are about to get rotated into? Or am I just imagining that?
You are not imagining that. I mean, it's like Doge is like the Bitcoin of meme coins, right? So it's like when Bitcoin starts to perk up, people start to then chase shit coins, right?
It's also that wealth effect, because I feel like so many normies hold Doge that it goes up, they have more money to put into other coins.
For sure. I mean, I really still think Doge looks good here. Kind of a textbook retest. It's just doing this really like aggressive high time frame, higher high, locally, higher low, shaking everybody out. But I really think that Doge is probably going to get multiple ETFs this cycle, or at least there's going to be a lot of these like ETF, ETP products that are like, you get exposure to Bitcoin, ETH, XRP, Doge, a few other ones. And Doge will be in the mix with all of them as part of your like diverse crypto ETF product that boomers like to buy,
What do you guys, if you had to guess, what do you think the current odds are for Doge to have an ETF approved in 2025 are?
Is there a market for that on Polymarket?
There is one before July and one before December 31st.
I would bet at least 60 or 70%.
I think, well, given the retardedness in the world, yeah, I would say realistically 20.
So the approval before July 31st is 39%, and the approval before December 31st is 71%.
That sounds about right.
That's the retardedness, yeah.
That sounds about right.
You know what also has around those odds, Jackus?
But what is the volume on it? Because like I feel all of these polymarket bets, I do not think they are very representative if they are trading sub like $1 million usually. Like you want to see some volume on those.
Well, most of them are trading like sub 100K volume, but they're still priced pretty efficiently, generally, from what I've noticed.
I'm not sure about that.
They're just illiquid.
Yeah, but I think I think Polymarket's pretty good representation, but you need to consider the volume in order to, and obviously it will depend on what it is, but you want to consider the volume to take the credibility of that market. I don't know. Looking at Trump, I still think the Trump. I think it looks round the bottom, and it looks like the market is running out of sellers. But I would still tend to think it goes lower first before higher. But also, what I said at the beginning, bottoming process. And I think longer term, again, it's a bet, under the circumstance, those guys are not complete imbeciles. Buying around $10 might prove to be a decent one.
Crime fractal, Jackus.
How low are you thinking, Jackus?
I'm not on
low.
board with that fractal, unfortunately. Not saying it cannot happen.
You know what your problem is you don't believe that there's actually enough crime out there. You still have faith in the system.
Is that big short I'm hearing?
You still think that they won't do whatever it takes to make billions of dollars?
No, I think they will. I just think that they always first make everyone so discouraged and wrecked from it before they actually do it. Like, even if you think of '08, they made you believe that they made Michael Burry like 1,000 times guess himself, and he was right, and and those banks were already falling, and those mortgage um, you know, fuck, what is the word for it?
Mortgage-backed securities.
Yeah, but I meant the insurance on it, right? I couldn't find the word insurance. So he had the insurance bought on it, and it wasn't valuing it at the time.
Oh, credit default swaps.
Yeah, what it was supposed to be, right? Until at time. So, like, I agree with you that they will pump it probably to billions, but not before they make people suffer enough and bait them on the other side. What we'll see.
You're 100% right. I would just feel like down 87% is pretty damn aggressive, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what do we
Yeah.
need? 89%? You know, like it's there's been a lot of pain on it, you know, especially for people
For
that
sure.
bought higher, you know?
No, that's what I mean when I say bottoming process. And I think, again, under the circumstance, they are not imbeciles. These should be good levels. I just think that Trump is bottomed when Solana is bottomed, and I'm not sure on Solana just yet.
That's fair.
Yeah, that was my one thing I was like kind of worried about with Trump, was like when Sol was looking really weak, you know. But I'm liking the strength the last couple of days out of Sol. I mean, I don't know if you can call it strength, but nice move off the lows for sure. And I can't help to the how Sol is playing out. And I've talked about this fractal before. I can't help not compare what Sol looks like to what ETH looked like, obviously on a super lower time frame, but right when it kind of broke out of its bear market base, it looked very similar to that, where we kind of rallied from 2K to 4K, kind of where Sol is bouncing from now. I don't know if you're able to pull that up, or I could pull it up, but
you're free to share, Louis. Take the screen
let me
from
see
me.
if I can pull it up here. I'm gonna have to clean this up. Hold on 1 second. Give me
I have a feeling that my ETH FUD arc is going to be transferred to Sol this year. I'm not going to lie. But I think we continue this bounce on it, with that said.
Yeah, so this.
Do you have your screen up, Louis? I don't see
Not
anything.
yet. I'm pulling it up. Give me 1 second.
Have you seen, by the way, in the meantime, the crime they've done on auction?
Yes.
No, I know it.
Can you pull up auction?
I don't even know what that is. Auction?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Put it out of the log, because log doesn't do it justice.
Oh my God.
It's just, I was watching it during the upside, and I was like, are they gonna rug it the same as KNC? And I was thinking, if so, how high will it go? It didn't go as high, like, because I've seen stuff like this go when it went to like $70. Well, I've seen stuff go to like $200, $300.
Dude, what was that? Was it TRB?
Yeah, TRB.
Was that the crime that happened?
The greatest crime I've ever seen in
This was the greatest crime of all time, this thing. And it happened on New Year's Eve, I'm pretty sure.
What about OM?
Dude, look at this
That
thing.
too. OM, yeah.
What about OM, Max? You can compare crime.
There's so much crime. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Dude, why did we not buy this thing? Why has nobody talked about this?
Apparently, it solved all cancer in the world, and that's why it's trading where it is.
That
How
kind of
did we-
reminds me of like the INJ chart a few years ago.
Dude, this thing is up from its bear market low. Are you kidding me? 40,000%, and no one's talking about it.
I've been observing it for a while.
Dude, you know what? It's
That crime
crazy. It's gonna end
happened
up doing this too. It's gonna end up doing this right here.
You know what the chart is waiting for? For
First
you to
move.
buy. It's
Yeah.
waiting for you to buy.
He bought, sell it.
I'm talking about you. You listening.
That looks. What does that look like? Oh, I know what that chart looks like. I prefer not to speak.
Oh, did someone give us a super chat? Someone gave us a super. You guys missed my super chat. I'm sorry. I haven't been reading the chat super closely today.
You need to be super closely reading the super chats
Let me
because
see
you're
what
a
was
super
it.
boss.
Okay, Jackus, does that not look like the MicroStrategy chart?
OM chart?
A little bit.
No, not yet. Not one or like maybe in May 2024.
Okay, I'm a little torn on the XRP chart. So
We were, by the way, discussing it. I think
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Max, how do you feel about XRP flipping ETH in a few weeks?
I'm fine with it. I don't really care. Like it probably will. As long as ETH can move up a bit, I don't really care. Like it doesn't mean anything to me if it does or doesn't. I just would like everything to move together, and XRP will probably outperform. I mean, maybe, but this feels like it's running out of steam to me a little bit. Where then you have like good news sells off, more good news doesn't really do anything, right? What's really throwing me off about XRP is the Bitcoin pair looks completely cooked to me. Like this looks, dude, look at this chart. This looks fried to me. This looks like it's going down 30% from here. Like this literally looks like it's going to go down here.
No, you need to zoom out more.
I'm on the 12-hour.
You need to more weekly.
Weekly.
This chart is going to 10K.
I mean, it could. I just don't know. Like, okay. I'm not bearish XRP. I'm just like, I'm indifferent here because this doesn't look strong to me. This looks like a local.
I agree. I agree with you that this one could go to like sub 2.4K. But generally, I think this one goes higher later on. It's more about the timing.
Yeah, it could. Like, if this was just random poop coin, like we'd be looking at this like, yeah, this looks pretty damn distributive, like that looks pretty damn distributive to me.
No, man, Mark, I feel you're sort of in a revenge against it. Because if this was Pepe, you would be drawing a triangle there without the range. And you would be saying, this is a continuation to the upside. You'd be like oh, this? Yeah. And then you would use the bottom line for the more, like right side or like the middle wick. And you would be like, oh, it's fine. And I agree with you. I think it goes to objectively speaking, I think it goes to 2.4K here first before it goes higher. I'm just saying that if this was a random coin, I still would think this goes higher.
it probably holds this range. Like I have no, like I'm not suggesting that this is gonna like go down here, right, and retrace the pump. But to me, it feels like you would do this first, right?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's all I'm saying is like, do I think now's the time to like shove XRP? I don't know. I mean, I'd probably just watch the Bitcoin pair and just wait for a good level, even the mid range, right? Like wait for a level, because this to me feels like you've been smacked down at the range high multiple times. I mean, even the point of control, like 15% against Bitcoin. Right?
By the way, I still think this is unfortunately the case for most coins on their BTC pairs still. I agree with you. I think that's like the downside that's coming on the BTC pair, as bullish as I'm on it on higher time frames. I still think this is the fate for nearly all alts, though. This little drop that you had drawn there.
I mean, it could.
I do not agree with the fact. If you can just quickly go back, Max, before you go on to anything. I just do not think that this is like a huge distribution that goes to something like, I don't know, 1.4K, right?
No, I don't. And I didn't say that, by the way. I don't think that it does.
I saw you showing levels below the wick from February, so I suppose that got me confused.
Jackus is calling you out, bro.
I don't know what level you're talking. Because I just had this range. I mean, I think
maybe I missaw that, but
you know what this looks. You know what this looks like? It looks like the Sol ETH chart that looked like it kept putting in the top and it never did, and just kept going higher.
I think I had an initial, like I didn't take a trade on it, but it was like I had when I pulled up XRP, I think I had something like this, like a hypothetical. I think we were talking about it on an old stream where like it would take out this wick and then move up or something. But I didn't take it. But XRP BTC, I don't think. I mean, maybe I had something on there, but I don't know. Like this just looks like it wants to come down a little bit.
Pull up Sol ETH.
Okay, wait. Can you put Sol BTC then next to it, to the XRP BTC? I just want to check, and maybe even ETH BTC
next to it.
Next to yeah. No. Use the plus function. Just one chart and just put literally the same XRP Sol BTC. Yeah. Okay, and maybe let's try Doge BTC. I'm just, trying out. Then
It's funny how we memed Sol BTC looking like ETH BTC into reality.
Yeah.
I still find the XRP BTC to still be the strongest from these. And if that drop comes for XRP BTC, I still tend to think that that likely means 15% or more drop on other alts too.
When I look at, like, here's Doge BTC specifically. This one seems really bottomed out to me. Like this feels really bottomed out to me.
Yeah, I see that point.
So this seems more bottom to me than like Sol BTC. Sol BTC to me feels like it has like supply overhead, right? So like Doge to me looks bottomed. Sol to me looks more top. And then XRP is kind of in the middle where like high time frame it's bullish, but locally I'm like, I don't want to touch this against Bitcoin here.
By the way, going back to that Sol BTC chart, I think that leads to new lows, which should still mean new lows for Sol USD. And that still, I think, is the case for Trump potentially.
I mean, it could just be this, right? Like you could get like this, and then you come back down here,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm seeing that rate of that high above the red. I think that was the spike already. But I could see if you zoom in a little bit, yeah. I think it goes more to like, what is it, 18,000, something like that, around there. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I mean, this chart is just, I don't know, man. Here's the thing. It's like if it reclaims, if it like does this, then it's a great long, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like until it gets back up there, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. You're floating in no man's land right now.
Yeah. And one thing I learned is that when, especially alt BTC pairs, maybe Tommy, you can give your take on this, but when alt BTC pairs break from their clear distribution and start bear trending, you know, you can add an EMA on there, on the chart, EMA. Usually that's going to last for some time.
Yes. Now, alt BTC is highly, highly cyclical, I feel like. I mean, it's on a case-by-case basis, but the uptrends for alts against Bitcoin last a very short period of time, and the downtrends last a really long time.
Yeah. Wait, did nothing happen?
What the? Do you see that?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
What's going on?
What is going on? I don't understand why.
I think XRP tags like $5, $5 or $6 before it rolls over on USD, but
All right, my trading view's cooked. It's over for me.
Maybe it's because it's on that second chart. Maybe try it on the first one.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
What kind
I
of
don't know.
mid-cycle
This is a meat
correction?
grinder, man. I don't know what to think about this.
That looks like higher.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to deviate these highs, right, that you see from 2021, you had the first spike above. But
Probably
I
goes higher.
like to look at Sol BNB as well. If we're looking at pairs.
I think you have a tradable pair, Sol BNB.
Can you flip it, Max? Yeah. CZ Maxis.
I mean, it's quite clear that, you know, a lot of alts have room to play catch up to Sol. You know,
That said, Tommy, what do you make of the BNB USD chart? Like the
It's really hard for me to make sense of it because it looks completely schizophrenic.
yeah.
Is it crazy to think that this chart probably comes up here?
no.
Like I kind of feel like you're not getting like above here.
Well, that's the high we just discussed on the Sol BTC pair.
Mhm.
There at the red. Yeah, I'm not liking Sol on any pair, not even the USD one.
No. And by the way, we've been talking about how Sol BTC and whatever Sol pairs were starting to look weak months ago. Honestly, like
Yeah,
we were talking it. So it's like we're not late to this, you know, this notion. We were talking about this for a long time, man. A long time.
That's
It's
funny.
what's
Like
sad.
we can what I find funny is that we can always get a like stream in which one guy will call us perma bear and the other will call us perma bull. Because there is some guy who is like that calling us perma bears.
Yeah, no, not at all, bro. Totally the
Or
opposite.
like literally at the start of the show. I keep repeating this for like a week and week out. We are at the bottoming process. This guy comes in. These guys are perma bears. How do you even debate with people, right? Like it's so, especially when you read like text, right? Like a chat or comments and so forth. Like you do not see their facial expression or anything. You cannot know if like they are serious, are they trolling, what is going on.
Yeah. It's just funny. Are they perma bears? Bro, if you saw my portfolio, you'd have no question about my position.
They can call me. They can call me whatever they want as long as I'm making money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's usually how it works.
I really think if ETH can, and again, big level, but like if ETH can reclaim like 22, hit 2200, reclaim the range low, I think you're going to see a lot of stuff getting bid when ETH is back in this range. Like this is such a significant potential reclaim. I even then would be targeting like up here, honestly. This is the biggest CME gap right here for ETH. I think you can really start moving like right up in there, if you can get that reclaim.
Especially because we didn't like stab into that, like in that little curl up we had before the next big drop. Like we probably should have stabbed into that on that move, on that first curl up. But if we did, I was probably more or less telling me that that was the top for ETH. But the fact that we left a lot of this liquidity behind, it didn't even attempt to stab into those levels. I love that we're saving it for later, right? It feels like we left a lot of liquidity behind on ETH to come back for it later, right? Which would be the climb back to range highs. So yeah, you reclaim this range. I think it's very possible we come up and at least deviate the range high and fill that gap. That makes a lot of sense to me. Because I was expecting it on that last curl up and we never got it.
Good point, Louis. And I would add what Max was saying before. Do you think they're not going to pump it to billions and study crime? Well, I would say, do you think they're not going to fill that CME gap?
That CME gap will be filled.
Study BTC from last cycle.
Like, wait, what's coin doing today? Okay, nothing. I want to look at the ETH ETF gap. Yeah, man, these gaps need to get filled. Oh, the boomer hates gaps on their charts, man. The boomer mind cannot leave a gap.
When can the boomers give me ETH options on a equity brokerage? That's the better question. Why don't we have ETH options already? Through BlackRock.
Won't come until the end of the cycle.
But why?
Wait, don't you have options on Deribit?
Yes, but the liquidity for TradFi is just so much better and more convenient.
Yeah.
I do like when you're looking at this chart, I like that anybody who has bought in the ETH ETF is underwater. Right? Like this is like you're coming into that max pain level where anyone in TradFi who bought this is now, we're in that potential deviation area where no one's in profit. People are likely giving up. And I think that, you make that reclaim that we were just talking about. I think it brings the pain to a lot of people that either sold or shorting down here. And I think you see a big move back to the upside, but you need the reclaim, right? You need the reclaim.
Yeah.
There was a question I just noticed. I do not think that BTC missed key levels. I think BTC has already hit them. Quite contrary. I think I think few alts haven't hit them yet. I think BTC has hit them. I think this is a perfect spot for BTC to bottom and stay strong. And I think we do not need to see lower levels. And I was mentioning actually this before we got the drop, that I think this drop is likely to come and front run that March high from 2024 at 73.5K, which is where literally everyone is looking to buy.
Yeah. Bitcoin tends to front run those major levels.
Not only that, but like there is a major level, and that is the diagonal one. And it's always about the context. If you, Max, if you can please, and I know you're cooking maybe like on a third chart, if you can put just quickly Bitcoin weekly over there, you know, and you can draw a line that connects, maybe you can put it out of the log, just normal, yeah, and just connect April 21 to March 24 high with a single line. Just single line, really. No, you can do it precisely even. Yeah, this is already good, but even if you do it precisely, you already had that tap. Plus, if you were to go on log, then you can even connect the July or what was it, September 23 low with this August 24 low. Yeah. And you would get a perfect confluence. And it's always about context. Yeah, extended. Yeah. Awesome. And so
That's a bottom, bro. That's
I love the
such a bottom.
confluence. Double the power.
I generally think that if you are hitting that March 24 high, 73.5K, you would be going lower.
Yep. That's what I've been saying for a while, Jackus. People don't understand that. If we were to broken out and then retested that level like early on in the breakout, that would have been fine, right? But we're months into this quote unquote breakout for Bitcoin, right? So returning to those levels, to your major market structure that you broke out of and spent months and months ranging in, is more of a sign of weakness than a bullish throwback, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
If it was a bullish throwback, it would have happened weeks at most after the breakout, right? But we didn't. So coming back to that level at this point is more of a sign of weakness in the uptrend and in the breakout. So, and that's why I was kind of pounding the table when we were coming into, there's a lot of liquidity levels where we bounced from. And no one was paying attention to those levels, but everyone was looking at like 70K, 73K when we were already at good levels. And I had the same mindset. I was like, I want to see it bounce here, 77K, because if you start coming lower, 70K, 73K, I think we're going to have a longer term downtrend at a minimum, right? And this is
Louis. What do you have in the background, bro? Are you cooking up some bullish propaganda? What is that?
Yeah, that was the soul fractal I was talking about before.
I want to see that. We gotta look at that. Look at that bullish propaganda. That is kind of. I see some similarities how they left the wick there on the ETH one.
Yeah. I mean, this is when down below. This is when ETH was, just give you guys some context. This is when ETH was coming out of the bear market, right? We finally got above this major level, right? This major horizontal that pretty much was our bear market base, broke out of it, and everyone expected a big rally, but we pretty much chopped and ranged up here for a while. And this was obviously on a smaller time frame than SOL, right? So use that as context and take this fractal with a grain of salt. But I would agree with Jack is that, yeah, this looks like it wants to come and sweep the lows, right? You know, you already came all the way down here. Sure, we're bouncing, but it looks like probably, you know, your logical, as an analyst, you would expect a bigger sweep all the levels and go. But a lot of people were waiting for that on ETH here, right? And I remember this. A lot of people, when we broke out here, everyone got bulled up. Like, this is the rally. This is what's going to send us back to all-time highs. Got back below. And once we came back here, everyone was like, all right, we got to come, you know, like down here, right? At a minimum, we got to come here or a little lower. And we stopped on a dime and did not break down, right? Held the lows, refused to break down. And then we just drifted higher from, you know, 2K. This thing went all the way on a ripper to 4K, right? So we have seen scenarios where structures like this, failed breakouts, retesting, you know, your range lows. We have seen structures, you know, on ETH that stopped on the dime where Sol is now, got a nice bounce and slowly just drifted higher, right? So
not to be a party pooper, just I think there is a major. I think this is an excellent fractal on its own. However, I think we need to take into account the bigger context difference. And that's that ETH was really coming out of a different situation at the time and mainly breaking that bottoming range that we've spent the whole 2022 and 23 in, versus Solana here was sweeping all-time highs, and that top literally came on that Trump launch. Plus on that, so like you have a structural break there on Sol, while on ETH you did not really have it. And also on this last leg down, you see that strategic crypto reserve announcement spike to the upside, which you do not have on ETH even locally. So I think there is a contextual different higher time frame just as a lower time frame. But it can look on the first go that they are very similar. But I think, again, this contextual difference will play.
Yeah, no, this was sweeping a high, right, where this was coming out of a low, right? So that is the big difference, right? You know, it is a fractal. So, but yeah. I mean, look, like they got to kind of save Sol here, right? Like there's a level to save it. It's pretty much here, right? I think if you start coming lower below this red line, this red area here, I think you have a lot deeper to come, right?
I think if you start to flip that upper line that you have there on Sol, I think that's a bullish case for it.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Yeah, this means nothing, right? This is just a bounce. But if you continue to drift and you start to reclaim these highs, I think it's game on, right? Confirmations there on a reclaim of this level, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm not trading this. I don't hold Sol or anything,
but
inherently.
But you hold Trump.
But I hold Trump. Yeah. So I would like to see, like, I'm in the camp where I think we're going to see a fruitful altcoin and crypto market going into the next couple of months. And I don't think we see that with Sol continuing to bleed lower, right? Sure. I think there's going to be a lot of outperformance against Sol, right? I think tokens will do a lot better. But I don't see a world where ETH and altcoins begin to rally from these levels and Sol doesn't rally along with the rest of the market. Sure, it'll underperform because it has outperformed for the first half or most of this cycle, right? So alts have a lot of catching up to do against Sol. But, you know, I don't see a world where ETH and alts rally from here and Sol doesn't rally as well.
I think one fair point I want to mention here is that even if Sol underperforms against other majors, we've seen the same situation with Pepe and ETH. ETH has been underperforming everything, and Pepe still outperformed big time. And I think the same thing could be said about Trump. You know, like you need Trump, you need Sol to be bottomed for Trump, in my opinion, but you do not need to see Sol outperform in order to see Trump outperform. Hope that's clear.
I think you just need Sol to not nuke, and then Trump will probably do fine.
Yeah.
I think the audience wants some action, some stake dinner bets.
some action, like a soybean action.
Tommy, we still have a bet going.
We do. I think it was.
I have it written down, bro. Let me find it.
I don't remember the level on ETH Bitcoin. I think it was by September though.
Here it is. Look at, I got it right here. Modified February 18th. Max and Tommy new bet. Let's see what it is. Where ETH BTC above 0.06 by end of September. Tommy buys Max a steak dinner. All right. So, oh boy. I'm in trouble. So I need these highs swept by September. That's a big
September's
move.
a long way away.
I got time.
Wait. Oh, we are on Louis' chart, right? Wait, let's see. Because we cannot see the highs.
Oh, you're on Louis' chart. Okay.
Yeah, there's a Louis chart. You need to flip that. Oh boy.
Where's? Oh, that's that red line. Jeez.
Yeah.
Just gives me an excuse to come in and go to Manny's.
Dude, I got some work ahead of me, man. I got to get this fucking thing above 0.06 by September. Oh,
You know
boy.
what? I think if ETH BTC were to go above there, I think Tommy would pay you like 10 dinners.
We all end up winning if the bet cashes, right?
Real.
Yeah.
So September, okay, by end of September. So I have, let's just say till right here. All right, we got to start cooking, man. We got to start curling up. I need something like this to bail me out is what I need.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
need this.
if this chart at least goes to
This is what I need.
0.05, I think everyone will be a winner.
I'll happily buy Tommy dinner. But I mean, hey, look, when ETH BTC pumps, it goes quick. That's what we know about it. So
yeah,
there's a chance.
Like I said, September is a long way away.
That's true too. I think the seasonality will be completely wrong this year.
Yeah, I think that's a given.
Here's what
Like,
we'll do is save this.
Like in a way where we usually see, August and September sell-off. I think we might not see that this year.
Yeah.
So ETH summer.
Hold on a minute.
DeFi summer, run it back.
Dude, we had Soul Summer last bull market, I remember.
I remember the last summer I convinced myself, surely we're not going to just be inactive for the third summer in a row. Sure enough. The worst trading conditions known to mankind.
The fourth summer will be the one. Yeah, but there were some opportunities, right? There were definitely some opportunities.
I did at least hit that August dump on everything. That was kind of my only good trade of the summer, if you don't include May.
What do you guys think, maybe last one to discuss, of all the delisting exchanges are doing lately?
Crime. They got their free tokens and they dumped.
Yep.
There's no point anymore.
Thanks for playing.
Yeah, literally. Like
Thanks for
the
liquidity.
definition of thanks for playing, gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Good game.
I think it's good and probably bad. You know, I'm sure you could find a reason to justify both labels. Like, it's good in the sense that there are way too many effing tokens right now. Liquidity is way too dispersed. We need people to believe in a small number of things rather than, just like so many tokens right now, especially in the altcoin market. Bad that I would say is just to play the devil on my shoulder, exchanges are committing increasingly more blatant crime and listing their coins, delisting coins for like Coinbase, for example. They've been delisting Solana meme coins and listing a bunch of Coinbase scams. So like, I guess
Dude, the base listings are crazy on Coinbase.
They've been so ridiculous, man.
Dude,
the one they did yesterday, like I haven't even heard of some of these assets.
I know. Dude, I mean, here's the thing is like the crime, not just Coinbase. I'm not picking on just them. It's all exchanges right now. Like for the first time in ever, they kind of have the soft green light to just do what they want to do finally. And they've been scrutinized for so long. So I don't really blame somebody like Coinbase for like giving base projects some preferential treatment, right? Why would they not? For once they can finally have easy mode. They can finally just do what they want to do, make some money, boost themselves a little bit. It makes perfect sense. Is it right? Not for me to say, but here's what we know about it. If there's going to be crime, there are two types of people out there. There are those that won't play because there's crime, and there's those that must play because there's crime. So all I'm saying is like, if you know that there's going to be crime and you know where it's going to be, just go where the crime is. I must position myself on the side of the crime. Trump is going to pump his shit coin. I want to own it. Coinbase is going to give preferential treatment to base projects. I'm going to own base, like I'm going to buy base shit coins. So I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it because like it's obvious, like we know where it is, in my opinion. But
I would sum up the Coinbase listing memes with a single meme here.
We are selling
to willing buyers at the current fair market price.
Exactly. Coinbase is happily going to sell you their allocation to Giga to a willing buyer at a fair market price. There's nothing wrong with that.
The masculine urge to FUD Coinbase while needing it to list one of my scams.
Literally. I mean, I know why all the exchanges did it, because the liquidity was going away from centralized exchanges to DEXs. And so they were missing on all of those juicy fees. But it was, and I'm not defending them because it was, their fault in the first place too, because, they did not pump my bags, fundamental bags. And so people ran off to memes on DEXs. But so they did it to get that liquidity back on. They started listing every shit. And all shit started to go down, and now they're delisting the shit.
And by the way, that's another thing about base fart coins, which we were talking about earlier. Like, it's going to end up getting listed on Coinbase for that reason, in my opinion. Like, it's a base project. You can see who follows it. You can go to their X account and see who the mutuals are. You can see that people are keeping an eye on it. They're giving preferential treatment to base projects. It's pair trading well against the OG fart coin, which has the collective mind share of everybody right now. Just swim with the crime, like you kind of know you can. It's kind of obvious when you know where to look, you start to see the pattern. So I don't know.
Be the remora fish.
Yeah, literally. Swim with the sharks. All right, Tommy, tell them all about BB Terminal, brother. If you would be
all right, guys. If you enjoyed the show today, if you liked what you heard, maybe you're looking to hear more from the team, or potentially use some of our product offerings that we use in our everyday trading to potentially improve your own. We've got a few things that I'd love to share with you guys today, starting with what Max has pulled up on the screen. That is the BB terminal, soon to be your all-in-one trading terminal, trading tool, whether or not you are an active trader, right? Trading lower time frames, capitalizing on volatility, open interest data, and much more. Whether or not you are a long-term investor looking to make, or rather looking to use data to drive decisions for long-term investments, we've got a tool for you as well. And of course, soon, for all of you on-chain degens, the terminal will soon have a degen functionality for you guys that we're really excited to eventually roll out. So, like I said, pretty much every different type of investor, trader, or market participant in crypto has or will find utility in the BB terminal. And yeah, I mean, we just continue to build more and more functionality out with it. So I would I would make sure to capitalize on it at these prices while you still can. But fortunately, we do have a way that you can do that at a discounted rate, potentially, along with our Discord, which I have yet to mention. If you are, like I said, if you're interested in hearing more from the team, kind of our instant market thoughts, sometimes even our positioning, check out our premium Discord, which, like I said, is packaged at a discounted rate with the BB terminal because we're nice guys. You know, maybe you're looking to hone your educational base or even reach trading level mastery. Well, fortunately for you guys as well, we do have the BB Academy, where you can come learn from the entire team how we trade markets, how we approach them, and ultimately even how we trade them. So check that out as well. But last but certainly not least, you know, I've kind of brought this quote up a few times over the last few shows because I feel like it's especially relevant lately, right? So many of you, I've seen so many quotes like, I can't wait to get out of crypto, man. I hate crypto, pump so I can just exit and sell forever. Well, we have a solution for you guys as well, or anybody really who's looking for the team to potentially manage their capital. We have an SEC registered hedge fund, guys, BB Wealth Management. And we look to manage digital assets in a way that captures their asymmetric history for upside returns while also balancing the downside risks posed in any financial market. But yeah, that's it from us, guys. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Market Check will return for another episode tomorrow at 11:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is typically when we get started. Of course, don't forget Market Talk with King Wabi. That is hosted through his X account as well as Because Bitcoin X account. So make sure to stay following and subscribe to both of those so you can be notified not just when we schedule those spaces, but of course also when we go live. But that's it from us. We hope that you enjoyed the show. We'll be back for another episode tomorrow. But until then, guys, thank you as always. And of course, stay safe.